People often ask me about profound connections. The sense that they met someone that they've never felt a connection like this before, followed by deep confusion as to why the relationship hasn't manifested or possibly why the relationship has fallen apart. Then, in this state of separation, they find themselves thinking about the connection and wondering, why am I still holding on? Internalizing this wonder to what's wrong with me, especially if they haven't yet experienced this sense of release. So they may possibly be exploring cord cutting, which anyone who speaks to me will know that I'm not the biggest fan of cord cutting, especially if it's in the early stages of questioning a separation, especially since most of these people are cord cutting, which is really what they're truly doing, is an exercise of reattaching, retouching, or meditating on the person that they're missing in hopes to reconnect or reattach to the person that they feel so deeply connected to and missing. So again, cord cutting does have its purposes. However, if you're in this beginning stage of separation, or you find yourself, you're pining for this person or really crying and you feel like this real emptiness and loss, if you're doing cord cutting at this stage of the separation process or wondering process, most often you're doing it because you're actually looking to reconnect as opposed to actually wanting to come clean or separate. So an exercise I like to explain, which may also help shed some light into these profound connections and why one may not be able to understand why a relationship may not happen if there is this like profound connection, and why two people may be orbiting each other, is actually rather simple. We're drawn to each other. If you are having a profound energetic connection, you are drawn to the other person and that person is drawn to you. Now, I don't even have to be talking about the esoteric form of it. If you're feeling this sense of connection with someone and you're wondering, it's logical that they're wondering about you too. So they're exploring, they're wanting to get to know you. They're doing this in a safe distance because they're confused. It's an interesting energy. They haven't felt this before, so they're going to do this exploration and dancing in this energy from a distance. So it's possible through Instagram. They're liking your photos, or they're wanting to get to know more about you, or they're talking to friends that you're connected with. It's in a safe environment, so you're orbiting each other. Again, the person that you're thinking about most often is thinking about you. You're both questioning this connection, and every few months or every few years, a new opportunity, and this is where we go esoteric, this new opportunity will present itself for the two of you to reassess the connection. You both dance in this energy. So profound connections, like these really overwhelming connections, can also be very sensitive connections. We feel each other. And one of the both of you can feel as if maybe you made your intention known and the other person didn't open up to it, or what they thought was the other person wasn't opening up to it. And because of the sensitivity or uncertainty, they took a step back. And we're very sensitive when there's this heightened energy. So it's possible when they took that step back, they're taking a step back to maybe reassess, like, did I actually make my intention known? Or they're processing this connection even deeper, like maybe I'm not, they're wondering, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this connection isn't real, or maybe I'm misinterpreting this connection, which is very possible what you're doing. So you're mirroring each other because, again, this is something that you have not really experienced before. And when we haven't really experienced something before, we're not always our best selves. The other person could be questioning the pullback, then possibly protectively they're mirroring you and they pull back, or vice versa. In the real world, this can be seen as not talking, taking a few days to take a step back, perhaps not talking for a longer period of time because they don't want to have their feelings hurt. Possibly we pull back by unfollowing on Instagram or blocking on Facebook. However, we're still energetically connected. It's even possible that they or you explore this connection by actually being outside of the relationship, by dating other people, because you feel this profound thing with this one person, but you're not getting that feedback you're looking for. So you explore to see if you can have it with someone else. And again, this is all exploration. This is all discovery, understanding, and this can leave a lot of room for confusion, which again, as I said, it adds to confusion. And then you start to take a step back and it creates space, and which opens up to the, well, if I'm taking a step back, if I've pulled away from Facebook, if I pulled away on Instagram, if I pulled away in all these different areas because I'm still processing, obviously this is confusing to me, I pulled all the way back, then why am I still thinking about them? Why am I still feeling them? It's because you still are energetically connected. So you can remove yourself physically, but you're still energetically connected because there is a connection. That connection exists. So the best way to neutralize the connection is to actually recognize that it exists. And the best way to do that and move forward is to remove the timeline as to when the connection should fade. Let's remove the shoulds. If you're energetically connected to someone, you're going to think about them. If this connection is profound, you're prone to think about them more because your brain, think of it as like a computer, is trying to figure out and make sense of this connection in a logical manner. And this isn't really logical, it's energetic. So when you begin to think about this person, acknowledge their presence. And instead of wrestling with their presence, let it linger for a moment. It's like meditation. So I invite you to let their image enter your mind's eye, recognize them, then release them. And you can do this as simply as waving goodbye. So, hi, how are you? I acknowledge you, but I need to move on. I need to focus on other things. I need to do my day. So goodbye. And this may sound silly, but this is a very good exercise. You're acknowledging the thought and you're letting the thought pass through. And as you do this, as you continue to do this, you can start to neutralize this thought. Now, that doesn't say that the connection is gone. It's still there. You're simply not as energetically charged or emotionally charged every time this thought or this person or this energetic representation of this person enters your mind. So the goal here isn't exactly to let go of the connection. It's allow it to exist and to live in peace with it. So you regain your mental clarity, and hopefully for the both of you, you neutralize the connection where possibly it can stabilize and then allow for a possible opportunity for a relationship to form in the future. Something else, and I say this to many people, that needs to be acknowledged is your true intention. And this goes back to my talk earlier about the cord cutting. Do you truly want to neutralize this thought and connection? Oftentimes, we keep the memory and the thought alive because we don't want to let it go. I've had a client once tell me, if I forget this person, they're going to forget about me. It's this fear, if I let go, if I forget about them, well, then they're never going to be thinking about me. I'm fully letting this go. And that is not true. It's not true. We don't know how life plays out. So you have to acknowledge to yourself, what is your true intention? So are you keeping this thought alive because it feels good? We feel good in these heightened energies. They feel good to us. The other person excites us. It awakens us. And the inside of our spirit, we just feel alive. It's exciting. It's sexy. It's something. It's something for us to daydream about. And oftentimes we want something exciting to daydream about. So and that can take us away from reality. So we become addicted to this energetic connection, and it disconnects us from our day to day. And we end up living almost in our memories or in this astral plane. So, and we're reliving this experience, we're reliving the connection, we're reliving the memories. That we need to acknowledge not only the connection, but we need to acknowledge that we may be the ones that are tapping in and playing with this connection. Like we're living in, and I don't want to say la la land because it's not that the connection isn't there, but we want to live in the imagination sense of it. We want to play with it. So because we may be missing the person or the memory, or we want to tap into it more because it's exciting, we want to keep it alive. We want to keep living in our head. So the truth is, even if we let go, or say the person's not there, the connection-wise, like you're nervous because they've disappeared, so you want to keep thinking about it in your head, the energetic connection isn't dead if the physical person isn't present. So again, we have to remind ourselves, just because they're not there doesn't mean the connection isn't there. That's still present. So the more we're able to recognize and acknowledge and then neutralize the questions surrounding this profound energy, the easier it will be for us to move on and move on in our own timeline. Let's not try to do it where it's like in 1 month or in 2 months, we need to move on. We move on in our own timing. So I invite you to really sit with yourself and think about the thoughts as they're arising, especially if you feel like you can't move past someone. It's not that you're trying to move past them. You're trying to neutralize the thoughts around them. Acknowledge that they exist. You're not going to forget about your past. You don't have to forget your past. Acknowledge the past exists. As you move forward, it'll be easy or easier to let these go. And also know that you're natural. It's natural for your mind to want to resist. It's going to want to cling on to what it's been used to. So let these thoughts come through and then release the thoughts. And after a series of these exercises or moments, and this can take weeks or months or a year, it will feel less heavy. And to kind of paraphrase Osho, our thoughts are like the ocean. Our mind is like an ocean. So these thoughts will be like ocean waves. It's natural to have waves in the ocean. So we're not trying to steal the ocean of our we're not trying to steal the ocean of our minds. We're trying to learn to ride with the waves. So hopefully both of you will have the opportunities in the future to connect again, and hopefully in a more neutral way. So you'll be able to recognize this profound connection, hopefully in a different manner, that either you can step into it, or it's even more possible that this profound connection is not your life partner. Because oftentimes these profound connections can feel so much larger than life, which it can be very overwhelming to last a lifetime. So I invite you to think on this, that some connections are for our soul's growth. They are here to spark and to remind us we're energetic beings. They're here to ignite us and to awaken our fiery spiritual souls inside. So we can thank them for reminding us that that we're alive. We can thank them for saying, hey, thanks for getting me out of this day-to-day kind of like zombie mode. And with that thinking, you don't need to have a deeper understanding of what's going on. You can just say, okay, that was to awaken me, and I thank you for that. So I really do hope that this helps you in some way to understand the connections that are happening, and hopefully not get too lost in your head.